not change in years to come to reflect a changing nature of the town. Does anyone wish to ask any questions on it? Councillor Durkin?
Yes, if I may, Andrew. It's of course it's my favourite subject, regeneration, and Dan's portfolio. There's three particular questions. I note that part of his role is Harlow focused growth for Princess Alexandra Hospital, and I would welcome an early exchange with him about what contact has been made. Because historically it's always been a challenge over those particular issues. I also noticed that you're going to be key strategic policies and areas, which is levelling up fund, which was the application that we were making and which is due to go out, and if successful it will produce £20 million to bring into the town. But it doesn't mention the town fund bid that we were successful for, that we did put in, and it was agreed for £25 million, which was actually about the regeneration of part of the town centre. So if you're not doing it, who is? And then also I just noticed at the bottom of it, cycle tracks. And clearly, historically, Dan, you may not know this, the council only owns a very small amount of cycle tracks, whereas actually most of the cycle tracks that have been unfortunately not as invested as perhaps we would have liked are actually owned, managed and supposed to be repaired by Essex County Council. So I'm wondering, why has that fallen out of the environment and has happily landed in your portfolio?
Thank you, Councillor Durkin. You changed your stance from taking a question at a time and now asking batches of three.
Well, it's then at least I'm not being called childish or silly, so that's the way it goes.
The questions were engagement with Princess Alexandra Hospital, the levelling up fund versus the town fund, and the cycle tracks.
Yeah, and thank you for the plethora of questions, Tony. The first one, the hospital. I'm glad you've highlighted another government investment into the town, of course. And prior to this role, I've always had a very good working relationship with the hospital in a day job, and I have no doubt that will certainly continue as the £598 million comes into the town. You mentioned the town fund. I know you're a stickler for detail, and it wasn't 25 million, it was 23.7 million, but nevertheless will do incredible things to the town. And I can assure you, whilst it may not be on the sheet of paper I'm actively working on to make a success. And cycle tracks, I'm absolutely delighted that you highlight cycle tracks, because I think perhaps to understate the point, we may have a slightly better working relationship with Essex County Council than the previous administration did, and therefore I have no doubt that rather than blaming Essex Council, we'll be working to make the incredible cycle track network we have not just the best in Europe, but I have no doubt best in the world, and I look forward to working with you on that.
Councillor Durkin.
Could Dan just clarify, because what he's just basically said is the reason why our cycle tracks have been underinvested is because we had a different working relationship, which I assume means that it was Labour controlled. Is he now confirming on record that actually the reason why our cycle tracks were not invested in is nothing to do with anything else but a political choice of Essex County Council? If so, that is a scandal.
I don't think that's what you heard Councillor Swords say. I have
Yes,
to say,
we do.
I don't think you can ask.
Yes, we do.
I don't think you can ask Councillor Swords to account for Essex County Council spending money, as he's non-Essex County Council. But I will ask him to answer the question for you.
I did think you had a slightly better grasp of the details, Tony, because that's not what I said, but I have no doubt we'll be working much more closely with Essex County Council, not to moan about the state of things, but to improve them.
Councillor Danvers, you were trying to say something?
Yes, Chair, it's really open to a legal challenge if, in fact, because we are a Labour authority, our roads and cycle tracks were not being repaired.
Sorry.
This is an absolute scandal. It's the first I've actually heard of it. I thought, in fact, at least our Tory county councillors were honourable people. I was surprised that our roads have not been repaired, and then suddenly, 1 week before a by-election, suddenly Momples Road and Manston Road are being repaired just 1 week before the by-election. Is that a coincidence?
Sorry, so I think the question was the road being repaired a coincidence? I can't speak to Essex County road repairs as I'm not an Essex County councillor. I know they do have a rolling programme of repairs, and I know members from both sides of the chamber have lobbied Essex County Council hard for repairs to both cycle tracks, pavements and roads. Certainly I can tell the councillor that my very first formal meeting once I became leader of the council, the morning after annual council, was with Lee Scott, the incoming highways portfolio holder, to lobby him to fix as many of Harlow's roads, cycle tracks and pavements as needed fixing, and to prioritise Harlow for investment. So I can't speak for Essex County Council. I can tell you that we're doing a sterling job at lobbying Essex County Council straight away. And unfortunately, the door doesn't open any faster for me as a Conservative leader than it did for me as a Conservative opposition leader. I suspect the new leader of the council finds my engaging manner far nicer than the previous leader of the council's not engaging manner. But I'll turn to Councillor Salt and see if he wants to answer the question any further.
I know Councillor Danvers will know the working ins and outs of Essex County Council particularly well, and know that the planned resurfacing on Mongols Road and the other roads he mentioned are planned well in advance of when they happen, not in any relation to a by-election. And of course, I'll come back to what Councillor Edwards said earlier about not intending to mislead anyone. The only thing I would possibly infer that Councillor Durkin or Danvers are misleading on is that the cycle tracks are going to get any worse under our watch, because as I said, they're not going to be less cycle tracks in Europe, they're going to be less cycle tracks in the world, and it's going to be an incredible network that we can all be very proud of. And I very much look forward to the moment that Councillor Durkin and I can crawl into the Lycra and cycle down the freshly laid cycle tracks whilst Councillor Danvers trails behind.
Well, that'd be lucky because
Sorry, I don't want to lose this. I know it's Dan's first meeting, so I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but you absolutely did say, and I think you either need to amend that or withdraw it, but you have said, and it is going to be on public film, that you have said Essex County Council have not invested into the cycle tracks because you're going to have a better relationship. Well, if that's what the general public want to hear about what you're going to do, then I'm really sorry this is your first meeting. I'm giving you an opportunity to reflect on that, but if you don't want to take it, that's your decision.
No, I appreciate the olive branch, well, quite a large olive branch actually you offered out, Tony, and I appreciate the way in which you've conducted yourself, but I don't think that's what I said. But if you want to talk about the general public, of course, they had a vote on who they wanted to lead the town on May the 6th, and that's probably why we're sat in these chairs and not those ones.
Councillor Edwards, you had a question?
Question and a comment following up, really. I suppose my question is, will the portfolio holder be asking the Conservative Party to withdraw their statement, which is in their election material, where it says, Harlow used to be a place of pride with immaculate streets. The old council, meaning the district council, let that go. I'm sorry, in terms of the streets, we've been talking about the streets and the state of the streets and the state of the cycle paths and the state of the whatever. That is a county council responsibility. So why are you seeking to mislead the residents of Harlow into somehow or other this is a district council responsibility? That's the sort of childishness that I was referring to earlier on in the debate, where there's a conflating of statements, there's a conflating of responsibilities, all with the intention of actually misleading the people of Harlow. And the statement in here is a deliberate misleading. It needs to be withdrawn. And I hope that the portfolio holder will call upon the Conservative Party to withdraw this statement.
Councillor Edwards, I'm not sure how that is a question about the areas of responsibility for the portfolio holder that's before us tonight, but perhaps I can paraphrase it. Cycle tracks, Councillor Swords, are on your area of policy. Why is that?
Because as I said, we're not going to make them the best cycle tracks in Europe, we're going to make them the best cycle tracks in the world, and we will take responsibility as elected representatives of Harlow to make it a better place to live, not just pass the buck to other people.
And can I ask my own question, Councillor Sawers? Cycle tracks is on here, although there's been a comment around the chamber that not all cycle tracks belong to Harlow Council. Are there any cycle tracks that belong to Harlow Council?
Large elements certainly do.
Thank you very much. Councillor Perry.
I'd like to ask Councillor Sawers a question. Does he believe that engagement
Sorry,
with
Russell,
other,
we can't hear you at the back.
does he believe that engagement with other authorities other than our own is much more preferable than protesting at them? And does he feel that by engaging with them, it's a good idea to have actually decided who is going to be the person within the cabinet to engage with them? Just wondered his thoughts on that.
Well done, Gabe.
I would love to detail who in the previous administration was responsible for doing such a thing, but I couldn't possibly name them. But in answer to your direct question, I think you're correct.
Thank you very much.
The man that can't be named.
Councillor Downs.
Could I be helpful? When Mark Ingle met with the then person who was responsible for Harlow's roads and cycle tracks, who is now the leader of Essex County Council, Kevin Bentley. Kevin Bentley is on record of making endless promises about repairing Harlow's roads. He even promised to actually come and see them for himself, and never did. And now he's the leader of Essex County Council.
Councillor Downs, you appear to be making a past political statement.
Absolutely.
What is the question that you wish to
I've
ask?
made my point, Chair.
There being no further questions,
There being no further questions, do we need to have a debate on this? Does anyone want to say anything on it? More than welcome to, Councillor Downs.
No, just winding you up, Andrew.
Thank you, Chair. I was a little disappointed at your unnecessary comment from the Chair about the previous leader of this council. I find the former councillor very engaging, and he was very engaging in Essex County Council, as Councillor Downs has pointed out. I note that the new leader has agreed with him in terms of portfolio holders that there should be separate portfolio holders for regeneration and growth, and we agree that it's two very important points moving forward, which we've mentioned previously. I'm saddened that the role of equality and diversity, which was part of Councillor Mason's role, feels has been sort of swallowed up by the finance portfolio holder. I'm slightly concerned about that. I'm not concerned that Russell's doing it, by the way. I'm again welcoming his comments earlier. I'm just concerned he's got a lot to do, and I'm just don't want it to be at the back of people's thoughts. And I look forward to seeing the cycle pass.